See that? See that? What is that? Jesus on a skateboard? What is that? You see all kind of things down here in Austin. People punching the air. We're at Lady Bird Bridge, by the way. What was that? Get it. Looked like Jesus on a skateboard to me. He walks on water. He could be able to get in Jesus surf. Anyway, we're hanging out at Lady Bird Bridge in Austin, Texas. What was that? You think? It doesn't matter. We'll leave it alone. Thanks for watching the Maurice Brown Show.
Hey you guys, I'm Venus Monique from the hit crime drama Vindication, and you guys should definitely make sure you're catching the Maurice Brown Show on Roku TV.
Yeah! Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Maurice Brown Show. And we have a very special guest on our show today. And he has a studio in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. And I'm telling you right now, this guy has done some amazing things in film. He's on our show today. I couldn't be more proud to have him. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Kyle Roberts to the show. Hello, Kyle.
How you doing, man?
Man, I am doing great. I'm telling you, I'm trying to balance so many things today, dude. But I appreciate you being on the show. You are an Emmy Award-winning director, and
just a couple of them.
Yes. My gosh, dude, and you have a studio called Reckless Abandonment Pictures. And man, you've got so many things going on. You've worked with DreamWorks, Disney, National Geographic, Hasbro, Nickelodeon, Lego, Mattel. Man, I'd say, do you have enough stuff going for you, Kyle?
A little bit. It's been a dream come true. And man, speaking of Oklahoma, it's a really fun time to be a creative in Oklahoma. That's for sure.
Yes. And you're also associated with over 20 years of experience working with youth ministries such as Young Life. Tell us a little bit about Young Life Ministries.
Yeah, so being from Texas, you're probably familiar with Young Life. Is that right?
Not really, not entirely.
Okay.
No.
So Young Life is an international ministry. It is basically it's a lot of student-led ministry where it's going to high school. So it's going to them and just hanging out. So it's going to football games and basketball games and different things. And most Young Lives have a club where they'll meet up once a week. They call it club, and just play games. And it's, a really fun time. And we'll have like a short 5-minute Bible study, at the end kind of thing. So sometimes it's introductory to Jesus. And sometimes, it's just good, clean fun, which is, needed more than ever with youth kind of thing.
Well, it is, good, clean fun is the operative word. We live in a society now where social media has made being clean very, very difficult for young people. Right. We were talking about on prior shows with a couple of actors and comedians about how you look at pornography being a major problem in our church with men. And I said, the problem's probably worse with young people. Because of the quick access to anything on social media. Every kid has a cell phone now, and it's a tool that can be used tremendously well for God, but the enemy's also involved, and so we have to be there to guide them. But God bless you for devoting your energies to working with young people, because they're our future, and there are not a lot of people out there like yourself, Kyle, that are willing to do that, and greatly needed in our society, brother.
Thank you, man.
We're going to be at the International Christian Film Festival in a couple of weeks. I'm going to be there for 24 Flicks. You're going to be speaking there. It's going to be in Orlando, Florida, May 3rd through the 6th. What will be your topic of discussion, Kyle?
Yeah, essentially. So Kim Dawson is a producer of ours on a film called What Rhymes with Reason. It's a coming of age adventure drama that we call faith-based, maybe even faith adjacent. The best comparison I have to that is 80s Footloose. It has faith in its core. Throughout the whole story, Kevin Bacon is even quoting Ecclesiastes, to get their prom, kind of thing, and is a core part to characters and message, but also doesn't tell you what to believe, if that makes sense. And isn't necessarily a conversion story, which that's great. I mean, everyone loves, as believers, we love testimonials, right? But this is more of a faith-based story, and I believe that's how you are going to connect with. It's how we're going to connect with youth. And we've taken the approach from day one of how to earn the right to be heard from youth and families, and that's been our approach, throughout this whole process. And honestly, that's how I've answered question 1 to 5 million throughout this whole process of this film: is, are we earning the right to be heard from youth? And if not, what are we doing? We're doing the wrong thing.
Yes, a great question. And Christian filmmaking is starting to make itself visible, and apparent in the entertainment world. Still got work to do, but I think the secular world is starting to become more interested in faith-based filmmaking. You've got, the Irwin brothers out there, the Kendrick brothers are out there. You've clearly worked with the secular world and made a positive impact with your association with it. Is there anything, Kyle, that you would like to see personally on your end improved upon in Christian filmmaking?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we're seeing a resurgence, a renaissance, if you will, of Christian filmmaking that's really, really exciting. I mean, as believers, it truly is exciting. Jesus Revolution was amazing. Irwin Brothers stuff continued. He's always been great. John Irwin's always been great at as a cinematographer and a director of photography, even when he was in college. Continue to grow in that craft, but that is his love language, if you will. It's where he speaks his voice and his truth. That he's, I don't know if people even realize this or not, but a lot of times he's co-director, but he's also like the main cinematographer, too, which is so cool that is his voice. But yeah, I mean, his only son was fantastic. We're starting Family Camp last summer. I thought was amazing.
Yeah, it was a great film. That was a great film.
It is 100% their voice. Too. It's all these kind of kingdom focused, messages, but all totally different. Our film is also a totally different approach. We're kind of using, it's a mental health piece, but it's, through this adventure lens, kind of thing. We see Nefarious coming out soon. It's essentially a horror movie, but I've heard a lot of really good things about it too. I have not seen it yet, but I think it's a really exciting time for faith films, man. That anything like I would like to see. I guess I would want people to continue to be honest, about it too, and just honest about performing. I think people need real more than ever, if that makes sense. I think we are filled with hypocrisy in faith, or in hypocrisy and fake in social media, and everything else. That we just are, and especially in my world, like with youth. I just feel like teenagers need real more than ever, but that's kind of our whole society. I think we just need honest characters and honest stories in my world. I mean, that's what we're trying to achieve with this film and our whole slate of films that we're working on.
You mentioned Nefarious, which stars Cameron Arnett, and I think that's out in theaters now. Correct me if I'm wrong in that. I believe it is.
Okay.
And that is it's a cutting edge faith-based film, and we need more films like that. Melissa Goad won an award at last year's Christian Film Festival for They Don't Cast Shadows, which I don't know if you've seen that film, but there's horror. As a matter of fact, it's a Christian horror film.
Yeah.
And the reality is demons exist.
Right.
And to try to pretend that world isn't there is unfair to the Christian community, particularly young people. But there's a way to address it. You have to be willing to address situations in life that, quite frankly and honestly, the church and Christian filmmaking cowers away from. We don't want to talk about that. We don't want to get into that. I don't think it would be appropriate to discuss that, but it's happening.
Right.
And you're not going to be able to help anyone if you try to pretend it's not there, which is why a lot of secular viewers turn away from Christian filmmaking.
Right.
Because of the unwillingness to be forthright. And there's a way, Kyle, to do it without crossing any lines. You don't have to be obscene and foul. You don't have to do that. But I do believe you have to be willing to meet it and address it.
Right. So that's 100% with this film, What Rhymes with Reason. And I kind of answered your question. We're doing a panel there. Kim Dawson is one of our producers. He produced most of my childhood growing up of Ninja Turtles films, which is the highest grossing independent franchise of all time. The first 3 Turtles films. And all kinds of stuff. A lot of faith-based films too. So I think that's the main reason they gave us the panel, as this film isn't out yet, because he's a big name. That's been our whole drive for this film is we kind of found our voice through working with, commercial work for Disney, Hasbro, all this kind of commercial series work, how to connect with youth and families. Our youth ministry background and our filmmaking chops kind of gives us this unique voice that we actually call radically family friendly. Okay.
Sounds good. I love what's happening with the filmmaking in the Christian world right now. I would like to see more. Like there's a show, I don't know if you've ever seen Vindication, but it is a crime drama that can be seen on PureFlix. Seasons 1 and 2, season 3 is soon to drop. And it's a crime drama. And it's just like, my gosh, it's like NCIS or Law and Order or Blue Bloods, but it's not.
Yeah.
They're going to the light. They're going to Christ, but you have to, stay with it because it's taking you to the light. Right. And it will draw a secular viewer because it does look like those shows I mentioned.
Right.
And then you find out, oh, no, this isn't that at all. And before you know it, you're hooked.
That's awesome.
And so please check it out. You can see seasons 1 and 2 again on PureFlix. It's produced and created by Jared O'Flaherty. And it is awesome.
That's awesome.
But that being said, what do you think the current state of Christian filmmaking is right now in the industry today?
Yeah, geez. I mean, so if you talk to studios and, VPs, SVPs, they're, charge of acquisitions. I mean, their initiatives change all the time. This could change in 2 months. I didn't say a resurgence, revolution, if you will. I mean, I feel like it's going way up. And we're about to see a whole other level of creativity in faith films that we've never seen before. I don't even think we know how to. I mean, seriously, I think that's where we're at. Is we're kind of on this this chart that's about to just soar.
I believe that. I totally believe that. And, you talk about the secular world, dude. You got some shine from Jimmy Fallon. I find it to be pretty amazing. And he had you on the Tonight Show. And tell us about Reckless Abandonment Pictures' involvement with the Tonight Show.
Yeah, so we weren't on there, but he mentioned our show. It's called Nerf House Showdown.
Okay,
it's a reality show that we produced for Nerf and Hasbro.
Okay,
and we had 6 of the best trick shot teenagers from all over the U.S. come and live in a lake house in Oklahoma, and they battled each other. So if you're familiar with like Dude Perfect, big YouTube channel, it was like Dude Perfect meets like Big Brother. And it was just a really fun, radical show. And he talked about it and compared us to like John Wick for Nerf fans kind of thing, which was really fun.
Dude, let me tell you something. See, that right there is pretty huge. You talk about a giant secular program, The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. Yeah. And there you are representing the light right there. And the beautiful thing about it is it wasn't about hitting anyone over the head with your belief. The fact that you do what you do for Christ, that just shined right there. It was enough light there for people who want to gravitate to it. And there you are right there on Jimmy Fallon, which I thought that was pretty, I thought that was pretty amazing, dude. But and I don't think there's a better person that I could ask this question to than yourself. What kind of advice would you leave or give any young person out there that's thinking about making entertainment, whether it's a director, a screenwriter, an actor, a comedian, what have you? They're thinking about doing this for a career for the Lord. What kind of advice can you leave them?
Oh man, my head's thinking of so many things, so many things right now. I mean, the joke I always say is just stop, because it's a ton of work. And some of that, naiveness, I had when I first got started, that I didn't realize. My first film was a teen superhero film. We made for $100,000, and if I knew, it took us 4 years to produce it, and if I knew it was going to be that hard, I don't know that we would have. So there's a certain amount of naiveness there, but it's just doing it. So that film, it made its money back. It made a little over 2 times, what we made it back, which is great for any film too, but especially our first film. But what it did for us was my calling card, so it literally, I started making a couple of viral videos on YouTube, some stop motion work. But after that, I wasn't just a YouTube creator, I was a feature filmmaker. And so then I really started getting hit up by DreamWorks and Disney and Hasbro. Kind of the story was history. I remember right after Post-Human Project, I got a call, and it said from Burbank, and I thought someone was pranking me, but it was DreamWorks, calling me to do the same type of stop motion treatment they'd seen on a YouTube video we did, but for their show Dino Trucks, which was a hit CG show at the time on Netflix.
Okay, man. Pretty impressive stuff. What do you have coming up on the horizon, Kyle?
So we will continue to do commercial work. I honestly think that's a blast. I think that's where the Lord wants me, again, kind of having a foot in that secular world and speaking truth and speaking light. And everything that we do, it's an honor to speak to youth. I've like pinched myself every day that that's my job, whether it's for a 30-second spot or a feature film. But we have a whole slate of films, man, that I'm so excited about, films and series that's in our Radically Family voice of our IP, our characters that are all faith or faith adjacent, that's tackling some serious topics, but in we call it radically family friendly, but in a family friendly form. So you can watch it together as a family. So this film, What Rhymes with Reason, is a film that we talk about thoughts of suicide. We talk about major anxiety, depression, all these things that's flooding youth more than ever. Number 2 cause of death between 10 and 16-year-olds is suicide. It's them taking their life. That was not the case when we were kids. It just wasn't. So we're seeing darkness flooding, the world, especially in our youth, more than ever. So who knew even 5 years ago, we needed a film like this that was talking about suicide, but was built for 10-year-olds, built for families to watch together. Yes. I didn't, but that's unfortunately, that's where we're at, is we need more content like this that the whole family can watch together, but is tackling, some of these serious topics.
100%. 100%. How can fans, Kyle, follow you on social media or by website?
Yeah. So on Instagram, I'm Video Kyle. And then Reckless Abandonment is Go Reckless. And then I have a YouTube channel that's Go Reckless, I believe. Reckless Abandonment Pictures, is my company. And really that will be our company, through all of these projects. So if you're following Reckless, you'll be able to follow all these projects. What Rhymes with Reason is coming out soon. We have this panel, we're revealing a scene in our trailer, which no one has ever seen before at ICFF. And then our world premiere will be very soon.
World premiere.
Yep.
I love it. I absolutely love it, ladies and gentlemen. We've been talking with Emmy Award-winning director Kyle Roberts on the Maurice Brown Show. Kyle will be in Orlando, Florida, May 3rd through the 6th. He'll be speaking there. Great event. This is like the Christian Oscars, quite frankly.
It really is.
There's no doubt. You see all of the heavy hitters in the faith-based world, and it was in directors, screenwriters, actors, recording artists, you name it. It's going to be going down this year. If you don't have a ticket, get one. because it's coming up real soon. If you're coming in on the end, you're like, doggone it, I missed it. No, you didn't, because tomorrow about midday, you can watch this entire interview on the Creative Motion Network on Roku TV. Heck, you can watch the replay right now on Facebook and YouTube as soon as this is over. And you can also listen to it on Spotify tomorrow about midday, where all major podcasts are heard. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Pocket Cast, Radio Cast, Amazon Music, and Audible. It's all there. Kyle Roberts on the Maurice Brown Show. And Kyle, I look forward to seeing you down there
Absolutely.
in Orlando. I'm going to be doing interviews for 24 Flicks.
Yeah.
If I happen to see you down there, I may call you over for like 5 or 10 minutes. You know?
Yeah, let's do it, man. What I love, we went a couple of years ago when we were just developing this film. I love the culture they've cultivated. Just gotta say that twice.
Yes.
That is very God-driven, kingdom-driven. That I don't know that I've totally felt that from other, festivals and stuff like that. It just feels real and honest. And I still have other actors and producers and people that I met there that we still contact, each other.
Yeah.
And again, I just have never felt that at other festivals. I truly love it. It's really cool.
You got to give Marty Jean Louis, a ton of credit for listening to God's voice.
Yes.
In creating this event. This is going to be the 11th year of ICFF, and it just keeps getting better every year.
Yes.
And it is the best Christian film festival in the world, not in America, but in the world.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a great event. I can't wait to get down there. We got red carpets. We got all types of films that are coming out that haven't been released yet. I love seeing the films that are available all day long, each day. If you want to go into certain rooms and see one, and then also see a Q&A with the director and the actors in that film. I had a chance last year to facilitate 4 or 5 of those Q&As. And it's awesome. And you meet lifelong friends there. At the festival. So
I can attest to that for sure.
What's that?
I can attest to that for sure. And man, my favorite part actually, films are great. At any film festival, there's great ones, there's not great. You have a mixed bag. But the panels were my favorite part. A couple of years ago, I went to Beverly Holloway's panel, which was really intriguing to me from a casting director standpoint. Chris Dowling was there as a director and producer, and I went to his panel, and it was really great. I think I learned I learned a lot from the panels, and it was so great. To just be inspired. You go there, be inspired, hear what God's calling you to do. And then you asked me earlier, what do you do? Just finish something, answer the call. If you're feeling called to do this, answer it and finish something, and that will be your calling card.
I love it. That's great advice. I needed to hear that. I appreciate that. Kyle Roberts on the Maurice Brown Show. Kyle, once again, by the way, Emmy Award-winning director Kyle Roberts on the Maurice Brown Show. Kyle, thanks for being on, and may the peace of Christ be with you and your family, brother.
Rock and roll. I love it. As we got the peace up.